It is 8 o'clock on the East Coast. It is 5 o'clock on the West Coast. It is the 10th of April in the year of our Lord 2025, season 15, episode 39, 708 times you have been welcome to the Clubhouse Podcast, your one-stop shop for all things sports, entertainment, pop culture, and pro wrestling. It is a beautiful Thursday here in the Metroplex. Welcome. My name is Rob. I am the executive producer of the Clubhouse Podcast. And boy, have we got a lot to talk about tonight. And I'm very excited to do so. But I am not alone. We're skating at full strength again tonight. To the left of me, that way, is my co-host. And a man who knows some stuff. He is Alex.
Oh, it has been a great week, but it is also Masters weekend. It's a big weekend for a lot of things. Hearing from people that happen to be there, had to throw on, since Justin Rose is in the lead, throw on my LAGC TGL shirt and represent the guys.
So, and we're going to talk about that here in just a minute. At the bottom of your screen is the official fact checker of Sooner Gator Productions, and a man that once again is jealous of a piece of clothing I picked up over the weekend. You may know him as Igbunu, but his mama named him Don Ford. I'm going to call him Don Ford. Hey, man.
He's saying this. Congratulations to you.
For?
March Madness.
We'll talk about it.
That's a good point.
I want to say congratulations.
We'll do the
that's a very respectful. Yes, congratulations.
So let's talk about it.
I'm happy for you. I am
on multiple levels, Don, because not only are my beloved Florida Gators national champions, the only team ever to be down at half and win the game 4 times in a tournament, and now the only school in NCAA history with 3 football national championships and 3 basketball national championships.
I was going to say, when was the last time they actually won one, though? Actually,
it was
that was a few years ago.
It was 08 and 09. No, 06, 07.
Okay,
it was the back-to-back, and then they won the 2 national titles with Tebow.
And what was the biggest that they're behind in that final game? What was the biggest?
12.
Yeah, they're down by as many as 12. And
they
it's
were
just
down by 12 in the second half. Yeah.
Houston not being able to make a shot in the last minute of the game helped. I've kind of felt bad for the kid at Houston at the very, very end, because he made the smart move, because he would have been called for an up and down. Mm-hmm. So him backing away from the ball and praying to the God of all things good and holy that somebody in a matching jersey got to the ball. But I think
tried to box out. Give him credit. He did try to box out the moment he realized it.
And but even if one of his guys had gotten to the ball, I don't think they would have gotten the shot off.
Now, we also have to say congratulations specifically to Rob and I's guy, Elijah Martin, dapping us up on the court for FAU during their tournament run. And now he is a national champion with the Florida Gators.
And he's not the only champion we'll talk about.
Nope.
The Duke upset. At the very end, I thought Duke had it.
Same.
This guy.
But I want to say, honestly, I thought Duke had that game against Houston, and then they just...
You're not alone, Don.
Yeah.
This guy.
Yeah, we'll let him go.
But yes,
somebody
Rob
on this
is
screen,
the March Madness champion for our pickers.
I won the March Madness contest too.
Yes.
Okay.
As I think the only person that had Florida
in that contest, absolutely
saved me, because my first 2 rounds were terrible.
Did you see Jay Billis's?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so obviously all the ESPN personalities do brackets. Billis had like 6 wrong all tournament.
Yeah, they said something about that on PTI the other day, but they didn't give specifics.
Yeah, like I want to say it was actually like he missed 4 in the first round, 3 in the second round, 2 in the Elite 8, and then never after that.
Yeah, and somebody, an employee of Warren Buffett, finally won the $1 million.
Oh, they had a perfect?
It wasn't perfect. He had changed it to so many right in a row.
Okay. Because I remember originally it was if you had a perfect bracket, you got $1 billion because it's never going to happen.
Because the chances are like 1 in 7 quadrillion or something.
I don't even think that's enough.
Is he still doing that though? If somebody
Every year he does it.
Well, it's more tongue in cheek at this point.
Yeah. Because the likelihood of it ever happening is 0 to none. Yeah. It's also opening weekend for the UFL, kids.
Yes,
remember that?
Well, that was last week.
What? Was it? I thought it was this weekend.
Actually, it might have been 2 weeks ago. It's just been doing so terrible in the ratings.
What?
The UFL.
The combination XFL. Of the USFL and the XFL, Don.
And now let's talk about the greatest putt of all time yesterday.
Please tell me I know which one this is.
Oh, there's no other way to put this. It was yesterday during the par 3 challenge. Don, have you seen this footage?
No.
Alex, take it away.
We are referring to Poppy, yes?
We are indeed.
Okay, so one of the interesting things, and it's one of my favorite parts of the Masters every year, Don, is on Wednesday, they do a par 3 contest among the participants. It's a family-oriented event before they get into the more competitive event. And the interesting thing about it, it's the par 3 course that wraps around Dwight Eisenhower's old vacation cabin, among other places. So what they do, which is really interesting, is they consider the par 3 winner cursed because nobody has ever made the cut or won. I don't know which one it is, but they've never won at minimum if they've won the par 3 contest. Wow, that was interesting. Anyways, so what they wind up doing is they intentionally get themselves disqualified by having they'll have their kid carry their bags or something because they only need a few clubs. So they'll have the kid take a drive, and we saw Jordan Spieth's 4-year-old rip one down the middle better than I can.
Yeah, that was a beautiful shot.
That kid's got a better swing at 4 than I'll have until I'm in heaven. But anyways, the thing that Augusta is also known for is that their greens are like putting on glass.
They really are.
They are so fast that there was multiple ones I saw today where guys on 12 or 13, I don't remember which one it was, but Rays Creek, I believe, is the drop off of the green. They just barely run it by the hole, and it takes off, and it not only goes off the green, but goes into the water and becomes a penalty, Don.
Happened to Rory today.
Well, that was a chip.
No, he was on the green.
But he was chipping from the fringe.
Oh, was he? I thought he was.
Yes. Oh, no, I watched that one live. Anyways, but speaking of Rory McIlroy, he had a very extensive putt on one of the par 3 holes, and he had his youngest, who is maybe barely walking. And she just barely touched the ball, not even really holding the putter, after fellow countrymen Shane Lowry and Rory kind of set her up, and it just trickles and trickles and trickles and picks up speed. And Shane Lowry throws his putter and starts celebrating as it gets closer to the hole, and it goes in!
And it was 30 feet if it was nothing.
That was 40. I'm saying right now, that was closer to 50 than it was 20.
And you have to go watch this video, Don, because the kid doesn't quite realize what has happened. Yeah, her sister runs out and she's picking her up, and then she puts her sister down, and the little one just walks over to Rory and just kind of wraps herself around his leg like, Dad, what did I do? It's the most adorable thing you've ever seen.
But the other thing is, Uncle Shane, who is a big burly man and an absolute sweetheart, is literally losing his mind with joy because he has daughters as well, which they highlighted multiple times during his time with TGL, and how much his family and Rory's family are almost interconnected as coming up around the same time and dealing with the relocation from another country to play in the PGA and things like that. So he's losing his mind because it's like his kid, by arguably one of his best friends, just nailed what will probably be the best putt of the entire Masters.
Yeah.
And I think she was actually scared because Shane Lowry is a big burly dude, and I want to say he reacted bigger for her making that putt than when he won.
Yeah, it was adorable. You have to go watch this video after the show, Don. Let's get into NBA talk about last night. First of all, we want to thank your dark companion to segue into this, a day unlike any other. Your dark companion. Alex and I went to the Sunset Lounge DFW studios yesterday and spent an hour with Mike Reiner.
One of us insulted him.
There was a lot going on there. So I'm not going to spoil anything. Go check it out. Don't have the kids anywhere near you. And then we took a little break, and then we headed down to Blackfriar Bar, which is on McKinney in Uptown.
Mm-hmm.
And it was myself, Alex, friend of the show, Ziggy, friend of the show, Groobs, friend of the show, Mike Reiner. God, I still can't believe I just said that.
Oh, I'm waiting for the last
friend
one.
of the show, Greg Williams, all at one table doing a pregame for Luka's return to Dallas last night. It went about an hour, and it was so much fun. We cannot thank YDC enough for asking us to be a part of this thing.
Absolutely.
It's always a party when we're all around each other, and I'm still in awe that we get to be a part of Sunset Lounge DFW, much less to be thought of as highly as we are. Shout out to Ashley that was out there making it, keeping us on time.
And Ivan,
who's the engineer extraordinaire out there,
the wizard.
Yeah, I mean, we had an absolute blast. Luka goes for 45 in a game that I did not pick correctly. And a great
somebody
pregame.
had it really close.
Yeah, a close one with counting cigars and horseshoes.
Sir, I was dead on with the Lakers score.
But great pregame video for Luka. I just had a absolute blast out there last night, and we can't wait to do it again. So
I feel like I need somebody to make a remake of "Hey Ziggy, baby, where is my money?" Watch the show, you'll know what I mean.
All right.
Anyway, pretty much the season's over because there's only 2 games left.
Yeah.
And last night's game may have changed some complexities, so let's talk about it. In the Eastern Conference Atlantic Division, Philly, they're done. 35 back. They are 2.5 back of Brooklyn. Brooklyn is 3.5 back of Toronto. The Raptors are 20.5 back on New York. New York is now 8.5 back on Boston. Boston has clinched the playoff spot. In the Central Division, the Bulls, good luck to you. They're 26.5 back. They are 6.5 back of Detroit. Detroit has clinched a playoff spot at 43-36. They are 2 games back on Milwaukee, who has clinched a playoff spot. They are 3 games back on Indiana, who has clinched a playoff spot. By the way, between Milwaukee and Indiana, that's a 10-game heater, 5 games apiece. That's how you finish a season. And Cleveland has clinched home court because they are 15 games up on Indiana. In the Southeast Division, Washington, 23 back. They're 2 back of Charlotte. Charlotte now 14 back of Miami. Miami's a 1.5 back of Atlanta. And Orlando has clinched the division at 2.5 games up on them. In the Western Conference, this is where it's going to get squirrely. We're going to go in reverse order this time and start in the Northwest Division. Utah, just watch hockey. You'll be fine because they're 49 games back. They are 18 back of Portland. Portland is now 11.5 back of Minnesota. Minnesota, a 1.5 back on Denver. And it really is Oklahoma City's world, and we're just living in it because they have clinched home field home court at 66-14. Fly Pelican. Flying on a 4-game skid right back to the golf course because they're 30.5 back. They are 21.5 games back of San Antonio. San Antonio is 5 back on Dallas, who, by the way, has lost 3 in a row. And if you watched last night's episode, and I was given grief about talking about the Memphis Grizzlies, let's find out why they're on a 3-game heater. And also, by the way, 9.5 games up on Dallas. And now Memphis is now 4 back on Houston, who's clinched the division.
No, I want to clarify. It wasn't necessarily giving you grief, but you sparked the Ja Morant eruption. That's really what it was.
But I'm not the one that said his name. I just said Memphis. That was Ziggy.
I'm clarifying that was the catalyst.
But they were saying how, like, no, you can't count on Memphis. They're probably in. And in the
I didn't even hear that. All I heard was
division, where it's going to get crazy. Phoenix is on an 8-game skid, and they're 14 back. They're 4 back on Sacramento. Sacramento 8 back on Golden State. The Warriors are a game back on the Clippers. And by the way, the Clippers are on a 6-game heater. And the Lakers now have a 1-game advantage in the division with like 2 games left. Ooh. So let's look at the playoff pictures. Now, we'll start in the Eastern Conference because right now it's set. Nothing can change at this point. Your top 6 are Cleveland, Boston, New York, Indiana, Milwaukee, Detroit. Orlando is the only team between the red lines that's locked in where they are. Because they are 3.5 games up on Atlanta. So you can still have a little bit of movement because Miami is in the 9 spot right now. Miami is only a 1.5 games back on Atlanta. And Chicago is only a 0.5 game back on Atlanta. So these last 2 games are going to be incredibly important to all 4 teams between the red lines, or 3 of the 4 anyway. Because Toronto is 6 games back on Miami, crazy. So it's not going to matter. In the Western Conference, if the playoffs started today, Oklahoma City has the 1 seed. Houston now has the 2 seed because with the loss last night, the win last night, the Lakers stay at 3. Dallas is there close to. Oh, I think I lost everybody. I'm back. Dallas is as close to in as they can be right now because with the loss, they've now dropped 3. Phoenix is only 3 games behind them. So any combination of Phoenix winning more games than Dallas does that are left, it's not clinched. So you're between the lines right now are Golden State, Minnesota, Sacramento, Dallas. So this is going to come down to the wire because Phoenix and Portland are 3 games back. Those are the 2 teams. Now, granted, Phoenix is on an 8-game skid, but this is going to get real interesting over the next 3 or 4 nights.
Yeah, and you made an excellent point last night about Phoenix. Oh, how delayed am I?
Yeah, I mean, that was a team that, again, like I said this on the show last night, go back to the summertime and say that Phoenix is going to finish this game on at least an 8-game skid. Nobody believes you because they were setting the world on fire.
Not at all.
Alex is on a little bit of a delay. So, all right, let's get to, come on, do the thing. Hockey standings.
Okay.
Hockey is out of control right now.
But that's what's great about hockey.
In the Atlantic Division of the Eastern Conference. Yeah. The Bruins are now 27 points out of first place. Buffalo on a 5-game heater is only 3 points ahead of them. Buffalo is now 3 points back on Detroit. Detroit is 8 points back on the Montreal Canadiens. Wow, Don must be on a delay tonight too. Montreal now 3 back on Ottawa. Everybody from Ottawa up has clinched a playoff spot, but nobody has clinched the division yet. Ottawa is 4 back on the Panthers. The Panthers are now 3 back on Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is now 3 back on Toronto. Toronto has hit the century mark. Now, Montreal is on a 6-game heater. So, and where, Don?
The Metropolitan Division.
Thank you. The Philadelphia Flyers are still terrible, but they have to be in a division with the Washington Capitals, so none of that matters anyway. Don, you're 3 points up on them, but you're 3 points back on the New York Rangers.
Are Philadelphia teams being punished for the Eagles at this point since they're both in the cellar otherwise?
And the Phillies can join them for all I care. The Rangers are now tied with Columbus and the Islanders. All three of them are 10 points back on Jersey. Jersey, Carolina, and Washington have clinched playoff spots. But Washington has clinched the division because they're 11 points up on Carolina with 107 points this season so far. With, God, they still got 6 games to go. 5 games to go. Good mercy. In the Western Conference, Central Division that has no Eastern or Western, Blackhawks, you could double your point total and still be 2 down. They are 10 points back on Nashville. Nashville is 20 points back on Hockey Club right now. Hockey Club is 9 back on the Blues. The Blues and Minnesota are tied. Your top 3 teams in the Central Division of the Western Conference have broken the century mark.
Nice.
Colorado at 100. They're 6 points back on Dallas. Dallas is now 4 points back on the Jets after a 3-game skid. In the Pacific Division, San Jose, put a pin in it. I will tell you they're now 52 points out of first place. And they're 17.
Did you see what happened in their game yesterday?
I did not.
Okay. So we hear about games going into OT pretty casually because it's a full league. And usually it's like, oh, it's 3-3, it's 4-4. That game was 7-7 going into OT.
Good Lord.
I don't know that they played with
I'm sorry, no. They're 23 points behind the Kraken right now. Seattle 4 back on Anaheim. Anaheim now 7 back on Vancouver. The Canucks are now 3 back on Calgary. Flames are 7 back on Edmonton. Edmonton 2 back on the Kings, but the Kings and Vegas have clinched playoff spots, but the Kings are 6 points back on Vegas, so Vegas has not clinched the division yet.
Right.
Now, playoffs right now. All but one spot in the Eastern Conference are guaranteed in the playoffs right now.
Ooh.
Washington has clinched home ice because they're 7 points up on Toronto. Well, actually, they haven't because
really?
Because there's two points for a win.
That's true.
It's not there's only a Y, not a Z next to their name. So they clinched the division, but they haven't clinched home ice.
But they are doing
Washington,
the Ovechkin thing tonight, so that's really cool. So
shout out to Ovi.
Absolutely.
Washington, Toronto, Tampa Bay, Carolina, Florida, Ottawa, Jersey, and Montreal. Montreal, that 6-game heater did not hurt because that now puts them 8 points up on Detroit. In the Western Conference, 3 of the 8 spots are up for grabs. Winnipeg, Dallas, Vegas, Colorado, LA, Edmonton, Minnesota, St. Louis. Now, Calgary has a shot because they're 5 points back. Vancouver has a very lengthy shot because they are 8 points back. But St. Louis only has 2 games left to play. Nobody else above them has hit the 80-game mark yet. So that can get squirrely as well. If I'm looking correctly, the Blues are the only team in the NHL that have played 80 games. Everybody else is at 77, 78, 79.
I feel like we still need to start a petition to stagger the NBA or the NHL so that they're not coinciding the whole year.
You're not wrong.
I want to be able to watch one playoffs or the others. That's it.
And in a couple of weeks, we'll start because next week we'll have Nikes. I almost just messed that up because we have to do North America's favorite game show, gentlemen.
Exactly.
What is the goal differential for those San Jose Sharks?
I would like to pause real quick. Yeah. I think for when we start the next season, we should get little whiteboards so we write our answers and then we can reveal them and rather than play off each other. Thoughts, Don?
I like
Game
it.
with that.
I like it.
I will personally
like it.
acquire the boards so that nobody else has to foot a bill.
All right, Don, give me a number.
So, but for now,
I'm gonna stick with my 75. But this season's almost over. I'm doing my 75.
Alex?
Yeah, I think I said 85 last week. I saw them lose by 1 last night. I'm going to be cautious about this because I feel like there's a number of teams that might be dialing it back against San Jose. So I'm going to say, based on certain news we discussed on a group chat earlier, I'm going to go with 88 for no particular reason.
The San Jose Sharks are on a 7-game skid currently. They have played 78 games. In those 78 games, they are 20, 47, and 11. They have 51 points with 3 games to go. They are 12, 26, and 2 at home. They are 8, 21, and 9 on the road. They are 2, 6, and 2 in their last 10. You're both too low.
I feel so bad for the Shark Tank. I feel
the
so
San
bad.
Jose Sharks currently have a goal differential of minus 96. I'm saying there's a chance. They got 3 games left. They can hit the century mark if they try.
Or how many games do they have left?
Oh, Alex is frozen. Hold on. I've got to get back with it. Yeah, they have 3 games left.
Am I frozen?
You're not now.
Okay.
But they have 3 games left. They have 3 games to have a negative score goal differential. It's doable.
I'm having internet. I'm going to come right back in.
I have no idea what he just said.
He said, "I'm going to."
Do you know what he just
said? I'm going to go internet. Something about his internet.
That's what I heard too. I'm going to internet.
I just work here.
John Ford.
So as we transition into the entertainment / pop culture part of our show, and we get into TV. Oh, there's Don. Let me let him back in. So what just happened?
Internet thing. Such a delay. I said.
Okay, fair enough. So let's get into stuff we watched this week. TV. Yeah, I got nothing for TV this week. But I will say I did a Q&A with someone who is related to a show that I watch. I want to thank everybody at Hill Country Comic Con for having me out. And Don, I got to interview a guy by the name. Oh, geez. Well, of course, right then I lose his name. In front of me. One moment, please.
Don, did you watch anything this week?
Yeah, while he's looking that up. First
Didn't
thing
need to call that out.
The White Lotus season finale was pretty decent.
Oh,
all right. Okay.
Good closing.
What
was it? A good closing? Like it
it
closed
was.
the loop well. Okay.
Yeah, and it they already said there's going to be another season. They always end the season where somebody always dies, some people live, and it's like who will be there next year. But they always left it good. They always kind of
so it's a continuation. It's not in like an anthology.
Well, basically, it was a group of people at a resort in Hawaii on the first season, and then the next season was a group of rich people at a White Lotus resort in Italy. And there's 1 or 2 people from the first season that went to the second season, and then on the third season there was the current one. There was some people from the first season that weren't in season 2, but like these vacationers basically, and they follow these rich resorts. Okay. Secondly, on A&E was the stadium lockdown, which it shows how the police, emergency, everybody at the Cleveland Browns stadium during a game, and it really shows behind the scenes of what these emergency workers go through. It's like to show cops, but it shows the EMS and the police and the security during a Cleveland's Brown game. And each week is a different game through the season. So it's amazing.
I have a question in that scope when you get a second, Don.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is that a dangerous thing for them to be showing people?
It's like, what do you show on a battleship, or what do you show on an aircraft carrier and stuff like that? Yeah,
right.
I think
But what I'm saying is, does it reveal any that might be exploited?
I think it reveals.
I don't know if I like that idea of being out there.
Well, it does show that they have one. It makes a point that we have police there, we have security, and it shows that just about every inch of that stadium has cameras like a casino. You know what I'm saying? Like a casino floor. You think that is the cameras going to be watching? Yes, the cameras going to be watching about everywhere. They do that for safety and stuff. So it kind of shows that, hey, we don't, there's a lot of people there. You get to really, but we don't play around. And if things get nasty, we will arrest and stuff like that. So pretty interesting to see what they actually go through in just one NFL game. So I found that pretty, it's on Thursday nights on A&E. So it's called Stadium Lockdown.
Yeah, you lost Alex there for a minute, but you were there the whole time for me.
Yeah.
Rob.
Don't reveal too much.
Okay.
You know.
Alex, I'll go to you on this.
Okay. I don't have anything. That's why I was throwing it back to you.
Oh, okay. Do you have okay? So the guests I got to work with at Hill Country Comic Con start with Bettina Bush, who is the original voice of Rainbow Bright from back in the day. Had a great conversation with her. I threw some deep cuts at her that she was like, "Oh man," which was kind of fun. Then I interviewed Ian James Corlett, who is a very accomplished voice actor, but we had to start with a factoid I found on him. He actually sold and gave instructions on the drum machines to Queensryche when they were recording Operation Mindcrime, which was pretty awesome. Then I interviewed, I also got to talk to Mike Lookinland, who was Bobby Brady on the Brady Bunch, and I had to do a side-by-side with him because when I was a kid, people told me I looked like him, and we put my picture up on the screen. I did not host that panel. Moose did a great job, though. And then we have, the big one for me, because I also did work with the original Officer Jenny from Pokemon, Lee Quick. She was awesome to talk to. We had a blast. But then I got to talk to Don. Does the name Noel McNeil mean anything to you?
Sounds familiar.
He is a puppeteer.
Okay.
He was Bear in the Big Blue House.
Okay.
So at the end of the Q&A, the last 5 minutes after he plugged all of his stuff, he actually brought the Bear puppet with him.
Okay.
And Bear was interacting with the audience. He even had the microphone up to Bear's mouth when he talked. And I was all in. Like, I was just all in. It was amazing. But he is also the puppeteer for a little show called Last Week Tonight with John Oliver.
Oh, okay.
He was part of the Puteki Teki, the big bird. He said that thing was so huge, it took 6 people to operate it. And 4 of them alone were the wings. Noah was great. I had so much fun with him, and he is one of the nicest cats on the planet. And he worked on another show I was big when I was a kid called The Great Space Coaster, and we talked a lot about that. And he's done puppet work. He was also the Steamboat Mickey or Steamboat Willie costume character for John Oliver. Had a blast. Let's get into some headlines. HBO Max. We found out today that season 2 of Peacemaker will kick off August 21st. So circle that on your calendar.
So looking forward to that.
And we've got Pit news for you, Don.
What's that?
Season 2 of The Pit is going to take place over a 4th of July weekend.
Oh, no.
Oh, my Lord.
Yeah. It's going to get real, kids.
Is Jason Pierre Paul going to guest star?
Hey, you leave my South Florida.
I'll say this. The final season.
Hey, he was a giant first.
Episode,
no, he was a South Florida Bull first.
The final episode.
Valid.
We haven't got to it yet.
Okay.
So I want to see what that one, but that one, 4th of July, I'm game. Yeah.
And they've already renewed The Last of Us for season 3. That headline from the Obvious Institute. And TNT is bringing back a show they used to have called The Librarians. This will be called The Librarians: The Next Chapter. And the debut will be over 2 nights starting on May 25th. So get ready for that. Let's see. Hulu announces another.
Sean is very excited for this.
Hulu has announced another guest star for season 5 of Only Murderers in the Building. Writer, actor, comedian Jermaine Fowler will be joining that show for season 5. Alex is on a little bit of a delay.
Nice.
This week's SNL on NBC will be John Hamm and the Lizzo. Last week was okay. But did you boys hear the story of what happened after SNL last week?
No, did the
I
singing
only
act come
heard
out
one
tape?
tidbit and didn't dig.
So Madonna was there. And apparently there's been a little bit of a beef with her and Elton John for many, many years because Elton John has said publicly back in the day that he was not a fan.
Okay.
So Madonna went to SNL and she felt compelled to go backstage and talk to Elton John. And she said on Instagram that the moment he saw her, he walked up and he said, "I am so, so sorry," and hugged her. And he said he wants to write a song for her to record, and he wants to collaborate with her on her next album. So I thought that was a great story.
That's cool.
The episode itself,
Yeah.
fair to Midland.
Hey, at least
Good
the
news
musical
into the
act didn't
universe.
walk
Love
off
it.
in 10 seconds.
Do what?
At least the musical act didn't walk off in 10 seconds.
Oh, they referenced that during
I know.
one of Jack Black.
I know.
And a big announcement from Lorne Michaels today. 2026 will be the debut of SNL UK.
Oh,
That is coming next year.
I can't believe that hadn't already been done in some form.
It will air on Sky Max and Now over there.
Okay.
Netflix has announced they are going to be doing another version, because why wouldn't we get another version of Pride and Prejudice? But I'm curious with one of the castings. Elizabeth Bennet will be played by Emma Corrin.
Okay.
Mr. Darcy will be played by Jack Lowden.
Okay.
And Mrs. Bennet will be played by one Olivia Colman.
Oh. Okay, now you have my attention.
And they also announced this week that Sasha Alexander will join season 4 of The Lincoln Lawyer. So
I shouldn't laugh right now.
Yeah. Paramount Plus has announced they have a show called SkyMed that's from overseas. That season 3 will kick off May 15th. And a couple of Prime Video headlines this week. They have greenlit a series based on the Stephen King book Carrie. And Summer H. Howell is in talks to star in it. She was in the Cult of Chucky.
I'm just thinking of it being extended to a series. I'm finding that interesting.
Well, they made it into a musical after they made their reference to it on Riverdale.
But at the same time, how much material was there to it?
Well, it could be everything leading up to the events of the book, too.
Good point. That is a very
And they are working on a series based on Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. And I don't know how I feel about this. Because Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon is part of a series of books, and all of the books work that same titling theme. So I don't know if they're going to go deeper into the books or not. But I love that movie so much. I don't know how I feel about this. So we'll just wait and see. A couple of TV on DVD or Blu-ray releases this Tuesday. Lioness Season 2, which is that show is getting very good ratings.
Yes.
And the complete series of Star Trek Lower Decks.
I hate hearing that statement, though, to be honest with you. The complete series, because that show is really, really good.
Let's go into movies and stuff we watched this week on movies, things, and CDs that show movies too. Outside of what you and I have reviewed for this week, Don, anything?
Oh, but there's one I am going to talk about when we get to review.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, nothing. No, nothing.
Alex has nothing. I only have one movie headline this week, but it's an interesting one. We may have the casting of the villain for Dune Messiah, and he is one Robert Pattinson.
Ooh.
I can see that.
Robert Pattinson, Timothy Chalamet, kind of here for it.
I am unfamiliar with the series of Dune. Do we know who that villain would be?
They have not said officially yet. And I've never read the book, so I couldn't tell you.
Because to me, they look similar enough that I almost wonder if it would be like a Lost Atreides or something along those lines. So I'm kind of curious to see where it will go.
Movie new releases in places you get movie new releases.
Did you gentlemen get a chance to watch the trailer for
Go ahead, Alex. You're on delay.
Did you gentlemen get a chance to watch the trailer for Predator Badlands yet? Or yeah, Badlands.
No, not Badlands.
Killer of Killers. Badlands is the one that comes later this year.
Yes.
I want to go to there.
Yeah.
I want to go to there so fast. That looks amazing.
Don, just think a Predator movie set in feudal Japan.
Okay, I'm game.
Well, there's three.
And it's anime.
No, it's an anthology. There's three different sets. Whoa. So you have feudal Japan, you have Viking, and then you have World War II.
Leading up to Badlands. It's going to be awesome.
Exactly. Did you see who's starring in Badlands?
I did not.
It's Elle Fanning.
Oh,
so I'm very curious to see how this is going to go. Because I know we talked about it being World War I, so I'm wondering if she's going to be playing a nurse, or if that was a red herring entirely.
Or she could be like a POW.
That's true too.
Movie new releases and places you get movie new releases this week. A movie I wish we could have gotten to screen and we didn't, but it's going to be on on my list for this year. The Amateur with Rami Malek. He plays a CIA, like a number cruncher, whose wife is killed, and he decides he's going to go into the field, and nobody believes him. So
a data analyst driven by revenge.
We've also got Rachel Brosnahan and John Bernthal.
I can't get the press on that one, but Faith really wanted to see it. So
looks
we
good.
Hit the theater in that one.
We have a movie with Pierce Brosnan and Oscar Isaac and Kenneth Branagh and Uma Thurman called The King of Kings. This is an animated film.
Heavyweights.
Through a father's vivid storytelling, a boy journeys through Jesus' life from humble beginnings to ultimate sacrifice. Along the way, he discovers the transformative power of faith. Ben Kingsley, Mark Hamill, Forrest Whitaker, Jim Cummings, Fred Tascator, D. Bradley Baker, Vanessa Marshall. A lot of heavy hitters in this. And this
is it bad if I can already tell you who's going to play the devil out of that list?
We also have Sacramento. This stars Maya Erskine, Michael Cera, and Kristen Stewart. An energetic and free-spirited young man convinces his longtime friend who settled into his domestic life to go on an impromptu road trip from Los Angeles to Sacramento.
Okay.
And you also have a biography called 1-to-1 John and Yoko. I think we know what that's about. Don, will go to you
the Rolling
first.
Stones, right?
Don, you reviewed 2 films this week. Let's start with Drop. This is the story of a single mother who goes on a date and starts getting drop messages from an anonymous source who basically says they're at her house and are going to kill her sister and her child if they do not do what she says. And one of the things that this person says is that she has to kill her date.
Yeah, secretly kill the date.
Yes.
And
that's all.
And that's all in the trailer.
I'm not spoiling anything.
Yeah, that's all in the trailer. And that's why I kind of put that because I made sure I watched the trailer. It's like the Rear Window. The scenery is beautiful, even though it wasn't done in a restaurant, but it's like, oh, I'd love to eat at that restaurant. It was like its own character, but it was a good thinking man's game movie. You know, if you want to really think who could do it, that kind of thing. At the end, they kind of made it kind of weird on the ending. I wish they would have done it differently, but still very good. High-tech version of Rear Window in a way.
And Alex Garland returns with Warfare. This is the guy that directed Civil War, and his co-director, known a lot for television, but he's also an Iraqi veteran. This is told in real time. And if you know me, you know I'm a sucker for things done in real time because Don and I, big 24 fans, Don watching The Pit currently. And this Joseph Quinn is in this. Will Poulter is in this. You thought very highly of this film, sir.
It's my favorite film of the year right now. It gets.
I have heard a lot of people saying like this is your front runner for the Oscar. So Don, I cannot wait to hear what you say about this.
If it doesn't win the Oscar for best sound, it is when I put my review at www.theclubhousepodcast.com.
That's
our website.
The audio on that was genius. It was so real life. I think vets who saw Private Ryan from World War II, when Gulf War vets see this film, it will give that same kind of reaction. It doesn't hold back, very brutal, but it goes by and it shows real life war. Go ahead, Alex. I'll let you go with your question.
I heard something that the co-director that Rob mentioned did an autobiography.
You broke up, but yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, he had part to do with that. That's why they put him as a director.
No, we got your question just barely.
Yeah, but yeah, he wrote. It was like of what happened to that day and everything like that. So yes, he had part into it. That's why they made him a direct. Yeah, but I'll say this though: if you see this film, if at all possible, and I cannot recommend it enough, see it in some form of IMAX or Dolby.
A premium format, if you will.
The sound, just as long as you can get that sound, because when certain things hit, it's like, oh my Lord. And there was one scene where this happened. I'm watching, and this happened.
Yeah. And Don doesn't really talk much about sound editing or things of that nature. So if this wowed Don,
no, not at all.
Pretty high praise. So,
and that's how long that look lasted. I was just like, and it's a compliment. It is a compliment when I say, I was like,
yeah.
It can put you on the edge of your seat.
We know if you're being negative, Don. You have a tell. You always close your eyes when you're negative.
It's gonna take a lot to knock this puppy off. And if it lasts at my number one spot, it gets my gold medal. It won't surprise me. It won't surprise me if at the end this is my gold medal. But see it in some kind of audio format. It is worth it. It will. That sound is incredible. How they did, it's genius.
Movies on DVD and Blu-ray this coming Tuesday. The Nick Frost comedy horror film Getaway that they screened at Smodcastle Cinemas, and Nick Frost was there for it. It's getting very good reviews. Heart Eyes, which Don has seen. That's going to be available. I'm Still Here, which was up for some Oscars last year. Sonic the Hedgehog 3, also available this week. I'm going to come back to this. Heretic gets the Steelbook treatment. There's a collection of the horror films in the Gingerbread Man franchise, and it comes in a cookie tin.
Oh, that's cool.
Clever.
From the Doc Files, Ape versus Mecha Ape, New World Order. And there's one I missed. Give me just 1 second, because the Criterion Collection does have a release this week, but I didn't write what the movie is, because why would I do that? Because it's something significant. The Criterion Collection is doing Chunking Express this week. And we have a sequel that I didn't even know went into production, and I need to know more. Eventually, I'm going to get back on my project of watching all the DC animated stuff. One of the ones I'm looking forward to is Batman Ninja, because it combines two of my favorite things. Tuesday, Batman Ninja versus Yakuza League.
Yep.
Let's go.
And
the cover of this thing looks dope. So, one quick tech talk. Last week in the intro, I mentioned that I am now a tree-hugging hippie with style. And what I meant by that is I am now the pilot, if you will, of a Chevy Blazer EV. I've sent the boys have seen pictures of it. Actually, Alex rode in it last night.
It is a great car. Although I find it hilarious that our countdown music is identical to what the front of your car sounds like while it's running.
You're not wrong. The engine creates this weird ambient music that I just want to go, your car is important to us. Please stand by.
But at the same time, it's brilliant. Because otherwise it's dead silent, and there's so many people that are just going to walk out in front of it if they don't hear it.
Yeah. But there's some models where you can actually make it make engine noises, which is kind of weird.
Oh, okay.
But I really like this car. There's a learning curve to it, but on multiple levels, not just on the electrical level. This is a little bit bigger of a vehicle than the Equinox is. and I sit a little bit lower so I can see the instrument panel. But I'm really enjoying driving this car, Alex.
So how long after they let you program your own tracks into how the car sounds before you program it to play Ludacris?
That would be great as the horn. I know with the Rivian, you can actually program the instrument panel to be kit, and it's the full dash, which is kind of dope.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, but it's not a super duper model, but her name is Ellie, and it's an electric blue, but they call it something else, and I can't remember what it is offhand. I'm very much enjoying this
Didn't they
car.
call it like high voltage blue or something like that?
It's got some kind of a weird oceanic term. I don't remember. But the interior is very nice and comfortable. It actually adjusted when it dropped into the 40s the other morning. It actually adjusted from the AC to the heat, turned my heated seats on, and turned my heated driving steering wheel on. Which is kind of neat. Does not interface with CarPlay because of some issues with Apple, but Google's built in, which I like. Go ahead, Alex.
Is it Riptide Blue?
That's the one.
Okay.
So
Had
then
to
I was
fact check
going
that one.
then I was going to name her Rhea, but I thought that might have been a little bit too on the nose. So,
Meh.
but I'm really enjoying it. I like driving past gas stations. It's kind of nice. And it came with a slow charger, but Google Maps also shows me where all the charging stations are and how fast the charging stations are. Which
You know what? I was blown away by seeing that. Like when we were heading to Blackfriar Pub and seeing it being like, if you need, there's one here. If you need, there's one here.
Shows you how
Would
many
you like to
chargers there are.
detour? Yeah.
Well, and it even will tell you, like, there's 3 here, but one of the only ones available. It'll tell you that as well, which I like.
Your battery's half charged, and you go to a station. How long would it take to charge fully?
It depends on the speed of the charging station.
Okay.
Slow stations are basically like what I've got here at the house because I just plug it into a 110 outlet. It charges. Yeah. It's like you get 1 mile an hour.
Okay.
So like what they say is if it's all the way down to 0 and I want it at 100, if I plug it in at the house, it takes 2.5 days.
Really?
But they tell you to only charge it to 80% unless you're going on a road trip. And I took Ellie to Hill Country this weekend because I wanted to test the road trip. I had to stop about halfway. But Baylor has a super fast charger, and I got it from 30% to 95% in just about an hour.
Okay.
So you can stop, go get dinner and charge it while you're having dinner. And it like a full charge like that cost me $20. Some of them may charge, some
really
of them
good.
Yeah.
So if you're 95 percentile, how far could you probably go highway miles?
On a 100%, I can do almost 300 miles.
Okay.
But you have to.
So you have to pay to charge those up at those charging stations.
It depends on the charger. Some do, some don't. The slow ones don't tend to because they're so slow. Okay. But like the super fast, yeah, because Buc-ee's has the Mercedes ones, and those are super fast. So when I got to New Braunfels, there's a Buc-ee's right up the street from the hotel. I just plugged the car in. It was down to like 31%. I plugged the car in, went, had dinner, came back, and it was at 100. And I got the notification about 6 minutes before I got there. Okay. So, when you
plug in the car, does it use a lot of electricity power, like air conditioner?
I don't know because when we got the car, it was close to the end of my billing cycle with TXU.
Yeah.
So I won't know that until the next billing cycle closes.
Okay.
And I will be interested to see what it looks like. I'm told that on the average, it's like $60 a month. And so since I had the slow charger, it's just when I'm home, I plug it in, Yeah. And it is kind of weird because usually if I stop to get gas, I'll get like food and stuff. And so now I have to like change my routine there.
Well, one other thing. So when you plug it into your house, do you have a special adapter that you then plug into your regular outlet or something in your
No, one I plug in, one end plugs into an extension cord.
Yeah.
And then the other end plugs into the car. And the port is right in front of the driver door.
I mean, but you don't have to have a special thing to plug into the wall, though.
You can. If you want to, if the tier 2 charger looks a lot like the plug that you plug your dryer into.
Okay.
And then there's the superchargers, but those are hardwired into your house.
Okay.
And those are like $1,600. And since we rent this house,
yeah,
I'll just keep the tier 1 charger for now because there's a ton of charging places around here.
So basically, though, when you plug in the house, you just take it from the car and plug it to your wall. It's a regular socket at the end that you plug into the wall.
It's a 110 outlet.
Okay.
And no spare tire.
Huh?
What
Wait.
What it comes with is a super duper mechanical box that's like a super duper fix-a-flat.
Okay.
And I've got the roadside coverage anyway. So if it's a blowout, they'll just bring me a tire. So, but it's really neat. I'm very much enjoying this car. Like I said, I'm still learning stuff about it, but it's you definitely the gear shifter's a little weird. You got to get used to that, but I'm digging it.
You have to actually do like a original stick, or is it just a
wait? Don, I want to put this in a concept for you real quick.
Yeah.
Did you ever drive a 3 on the tree?
I never heard of a 3 on the tree. I drove in regular sticks.
Okay. But what I'm saying is, have you driven one that has a column shifter?
No.
Like an old truck or anything?
No.
Okay. So it is spiritually a lot like that, but I'm going to let Rob explain it. I just wanted to see if you had a baseline with it.
So it's on the right side of the steering wheel.
Okay.
And if I want to go in reverse, I have to pull it towards me and
down.
Go push it down. And then if I want to go and drive, I have to pull it toward me and push it up. And if I want to go into neutral, I pull it toward me, and then park, I push the button on the side.
Okay.
And and it's I don't even have to I don't have to turn it off because once I get out of the car, I open the door, it turns itself off. And then I close the door, and then 7 seconds later it locks for me. And if I'm carrying a bunch of stuff to get to the hatchback, if I get within 2 feet of the hatchback, it opens automatically for me.
Okay.
It's pretty nice. And the good cargo space, I have no complaints right now.
And did you buy it new or new used?
It's on a lease. It had a little under 3,000 miles on it.
Okay.
And the battery's 8 years or 100,000 miles. So
okay.
Now if you got to replace the batteries, bring your checkbook. But Alex can attest to the interior too. It
is so comfy.
It
is incredibly comfortable.
Yeah.
I will say one of the little silly things is it took me way longer to figure out air vents than it should have.
Yeah. But they're pretty cool looking.
They are, but at the same time, I was like, why does your AC not work? Oh, I'm the idiot. Cool.
And it has the wireless charging, so I don't have to have a charging cable in my car.
Does it have a backup of gas at all?
Nope. It's 100% electric.
Okay.
It is not a hybrid. So, but I'm having fun with it. It's good times.
Enjoy.
Good times. All right, gentlemen. And now this. It is time for the Cheap Popcast, your one-stop shop for all things in the world of professional wrestling. Let us dive right in. Impact is hosting a breakfast with the Hardys during WrestleMania week, April 17th at the Cox Pavilion. All the proceeds are going to go to benefit Chris Bay.
And with that, now I'm probably going.
And it will also include a numbered limited edition 11x17 photo that'll have Bay, the Hardys, and other TNA stars on it.
That's cool.
Couple of notes from Impact, which I finally watched yesterday. They're doing an international championship tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And Santino broke me. Because his phrase was, as we all know the saying, from the ashes will arise a Beth Phoenix. God bless you, sir.
Oh, great call out.
I love that, man. WWE news. We have, for the first time in 5 years, we have legacy inductees into the Hall of Fame. One of them is someone that Don has been lobbying a bit for the last few years. Ivan Koloff goes in as a legacy inductee.
Okay.
Dory Funk Jr. goes in as a legacy inductee. And Kamala is going in as a legacy inductee.
Kamala Uganda Giant.
That is correct.
Oh, you should have been in a long time ago.
Right. I know. Like I said, you've been lobbying for a few years, and now you get it.
A lot of those guys. Yeah.
Kelly is believed to be on a Legends deal now. So there's that. And Don, let's talk about your Pittsburgh Pirates.
You want a crazy fact about Kelly?
Please do.
Oh, I'm so delayed.
Oh, wait.
Was that directed at me?
Yes.
Oh my God, this is such a delay. Kelly is actually younger than Charlotte Flair.
Wow. Yikes. But Don, let's talk about your Pittsburgh
That surprised me.
Yeah.
What's up?
May 10th will be WWE night at PNC Park. And by the way, Don, just in case you hadn't heard,
Okay.
Mike Reiner labels PNC Park as the best park in Major League Baseball.
I can believe it. A lot of people
Not
say
wrong.
that. Yeah.
But it will be WWE night on May 10th, where the bobblehead will be the pirate parrot, who will be wearing a Yeet t-shirt and Yeet glasses.
Oh, gee.
That's funny.
Honey, we're going to Pittsburgh.
There's no major notes from SmackDown, but I did want to say that they unveiled today that this is something Alex will be very interested in. Cody Rhodes has a new captain collection for Vegas, and some of the items will feature Pharaoh.
Because my girls are the Pharaoh fangirls.
So you might want to look that up on Shop. I discovered this week, I was a little confused because we talked on the show as we go to Raw that when I watched Raw on Netflix, I watched it on a delay, that it skipped the commercials for me, which I very much enjoyed. And then it didn't. And then it did again. What I have discovered is that if you watch Raw on Apple TV, and you're watching it on delay, Apple TV will skip the commercials. If you watch on Roku, you have to skip them yourself. But Roku does tell you how long the break is, so you don't have to estimate.
Yeah.
Did you notice anything about Penta
New Year?
as he walked out?
No.
That's
What
a little
was on-
vague.
what was on his hands?
No, I missed this.
The Lucha Brothers logo was on the hands of the gloves.
Oh, nice.
And Alex noticed something. And I'm gonna just throw to you.
Dude, you're gonna need to prompt me on this. It's been a while.
You asked me if I saw something.
Oh, okay, yes. Okay. Don, after the spear that put Carlito in the grave.
Oh, that was such a sick spear, dude.
Well, did you let's put a pin in Carlito's response for a second.
Yes.
With the whole breakdown of everything, obviously we have the producers running in and everything to break up the fight, right?
Jamie Noble, Jason Jordan, all those guys.
The usual suspects. Shout out Shane Helms. Love that dude. Did you notice anything in the background?
No.
Well, let's just say that if Pat Buck had a baseball career, he'd be safe at third because he Titus O'Neill'd himself running down the aisle, and the camera shot they were using was through the ring at the aisle. So all you saw was this very, very great producer biff it at full speed in a very nice suit. And I couldn't stop laughing. Like, I'm supposed to take this fight seriously, and all I keep doing is laughing it because he can't get his hair back into place as well. So he's trying to break up the fight and fix his hair the whole time.
Yeah. Any other notes you guys have from SmackDown or Raw?
No.
I thought it was a decent couple of shows. Nothing too blowing up. Aldis made what we all knew was happening official or earlier today regarding Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre, but said he will address Randy Orton on Friday from social media. So we're looking forward to that. But
I'm looking forward to the women's tag gauntlet.
To go back. with that addressing with Randy Orton, who do you want his opponent at Mania to be? Not who do you think, but who do you want it to be? Because I think we're all in agreement that it's supposed to be Aleister Black, right?
I don't know. I would be interested, but I'd be okay with it.
But is that what you would want, or is there somebody else you can think of?
I can't think of anybody else off the bat, and I would love to see that.
How about you, Don?
I'd like to see Aleister Black.
Now, I have made no bones about it that I am a huge Aleister/Malachi Black fan. And I always have been. I probably will be for a very long time. But something occurred to me.
Okay.
How many championships does Randy Orton have?
He had like 12 or 13.
I believe he's in that neighborhood. I think it's 14 now, but it's 13 or 14. Don, would you mind looking that up real quick?
How many
Orton championships?
Yeah, how many world championships does Randy Orton have?
Oh, it's
now
14.
It's 14?
Yeah.
Okay, so that puts him very high on the list of most championships in WWE.
Yeah.
Among the very high on a list of being a world champion, I believe is the third longest time as a champion in NWA is Nick Aldis. I want Randy Orton versus Nick Aldis at Mania.
Ooh,
Please give this to me.
That would be fun.
Well, they both work equal kinds of rate, so I feel like they're going to be able to mesh really, really well. Plus, Nick Aldis is so much better of a wrestler than I think 95% of people realize because so much of his work was done off of mainstream TV.
He is a national treasure.
Yes, he is. He is also the dealer, so he could make a deal.
So a couple of NXT notes. Trick Williams will be a guest star on the season 7 finale of CW's All-American.
Okay.
And Sol Ruca will be the next person to get a championship shot at the Speed title currently held by Candice LeRae.
Just leave the tag team alone. They're doing phenomenal. Zaruka is awesome.
AEW Dynasty was a thing. Alex, you did watch it. Any notes that you want to give us on that?
It was a great, great show. And then the ending was, I can't say the entire text I sent to you, but I will do most of it. AE double boo this bull.
Yeah.
Okay, there was no bleep.
Oh, I was not prepared.
Yeah. What? You had the words.
Yeah, but I also gave you a fantasy booking on that too.
No, you didn't. I don't believe you did.
I did because you were like, I hate how accurate that probably is going to be.
Oh, you're gonna have to refresh me. I remember replying to it, but I feel like I've repressed it.
Even though they're trying to push away from it, which they did last night on Dynamite, I feel like the Young Bucks will be the higher power funding the Death Riders. I don't like it.
You almost made me swear, sir.
I don't like it, but I call it as I see it.
I hate it so much. Okay. Actually, we're pretty versed in all of this, and I did not know a certain term that I just learned the other day.
Okay.
And I kind of, number one, kind of take issue with it. Number two, I'm trying to figure out why I've never heard it before. But did you know there is another term for go away heat? Don? Allegedly, that's known as X-Pac heat.
Oh, dear. Well, yeah. I mean, he took a lot of that for a while.
But I had never heard that, and I feel bad for it, but I feel like I'm going to start calling it Young Bucks heat. Because, okay, Rob, how many years have I defended the Young Bucks?
Many, many. And I've always said I like them as humans. I just don't like it when talent books.
But at the same time, even while they had hands in booking, I was defending. This is some stuff that my dogs leave in the backyard.
Yeah, this is tough.
This is not helping.
Pac has an ankle injury after that buckle bomb the other night. Mark Davis may have a broken foot.
Oh, that dude can't stay healthy.
Day by day. Nothing really from Collision, but Dynamite, stay with me. Because I've actually heard this theory before, but not in this lane.
Okay.
Hurt Syndicate gives MJF the Heisman. FTR is now heel.
Okay.
Do we have the return of the Pinnacle?
What's the Pinnacle?
That was him, FTR, and Wardlow. Remember that group they had
Yeah, during COVID, I believe.
for about a cup of coffee?
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it's the logical thing.
It would be a good way to bring Wardlow back in, too.
And you get the titles back on FTR.
Yeah, it's true.
Because that's the only way you pitch it, is that's the only way they can get them is with help.
Do you like them heel?
I think they're good either way.
Yeah, I'm good either way. I like FTR a lot. Those guys
to be perfectly honest, I do like them because here's the niche they hit for me with heels. I'm going to go in the Wayback Machine to ECW. Do you remember Mick Foley's heel run in ECW?
I didn't watch a lot of the original ECW because I couldn't get it here.
Oh, that's right. You were already gone by the time it was on Sunshine.
Yep.
Don, do you remember the heel run that Mick Foley had?
Get much either at the time when he was in there, but I know what you're saying. Yeah.
So it would, to this day, it is one of the most subtly brilliant bookings I have ever seen. Because what does the E in ECW stand for?
Extreme.
Which implies that there's a lot of like no DQ, weapons involved, and it was always crazy, right?
Yeah.
So Mick Foley, this was the post Kane Dewey heel run. So when Sign Guy had the Kane Dewey and he cut the promo and he was so brilliant with it that even Sign Guy was like, is Mick really mad at me? So what Mick Foley did after that was he did not do anything extreme. He became incredibly technical. He would do headlock takeovers, drop toe holds, and he would keep it in the ring and only do that. And it was the most brilliant, subtle booking because Mick could talk. He could always capture a crowd with his voice. But then the way he wrestled, that was the only time he really did that. And it was just, it drove them insane because Cactus Jack wouldn't do crazy things. And it was so brilliant. So FTR working as a heel does some of that stuff. Because if you remember, no flips, just fists.
Mm-hmm.
And making that the middle finger to the crowd, calling for tables or asking for flippy-doo or anything like that. So it works really well. The only time they were a heel that didn't work well for me involved Icy Hot. End of statement.
I feel like we need to add a segment to this show.
Go on.
The Tony Storm quote of the week.
You know what's going to happen. You try to do that, and she's going to be off TV for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
This week's quote, as she says to Taz when she sits at the table, I borrowed your car, but I left my chewing tobacco in it. This was the Tony Storm quote of the week.
That was not the quote I thought you were going to say.
Oh, there's quite a few, but remember, this is a family show.
So you know which one I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Regarding her tag team.
Yeah. Well, and the pinning predicament, how she refers to that.
Mm.
I feel like Jericho's disappointed. Just kind of a vibe I got.
I think he's stuck where he wants to go with anything now.
Yeah. I really thought that there was going to be a turn by either Big Bill or Brian Keith on each other.
We are allegedly starting to feed that, and I wonder if we're going to start seeing Jericho go to more of a backstage role. But the hard part is outside of MJF being the greatest heel on the planet right now, he's the only one really drawing heat, even if it's kind of the heat you don't want. They're still getting reactions. It's just eh.
And I feel bad.
I know that Hurt Business just got the belts and stuff.
Hurt Syndicate.
I mean, should they have put the belts on Big Bill on Sunday night?
No, because you've got to work. We've got to see where this thing with MJF is going.
Of the multiple matches where the title should have changed hand, that's the bottom of the list.
Yeah.
And there
was no surprises on Sunday night. I watched Destiny 2.
There was a big one.
When it came to the matches outcomes at the end, everybody who won, I thought was going to win going into before the thing started. There was no surprise wins. Is the best.
Okay. You're talking about the match results. There was no.
Yeah, exactly.
But there were definitely surprises in other areas.
Oh,
and,
yeah. You know,
I just watched.
Cash Wheeler is
basically, I'm just going to say it that they're going to have Ospreay versus Moxley at All In and for the big belt. That's going to be I think the main event.
I still want my fantasy booking of the Triple O.
I just watched Matsuyama hit the pin and then the ball rolling into the water off the pin.
Yeah, I watched that live.
Shot.
Yeah. So the Triple O I'm referring to, Don, is we're going to get Okada versus Omega for the rumored unifying of the belts.
Yeah.
The Intercontinental Championship.
Yeah, I want Ospreay added to that for the OOO and just give us the greatest match of all time, because we know Omega and Okada, they could wrestle an hour and be entertaining in their sleep, and so can Ospreay. I want the three of them going head to head for that.
And I know it's all in story, but you got to feel bad for guys that are in a match that are supposed to be getting $400,000, knowing they're not going to get $400,000.
That is also true.
So.
But I mildly disagree with you, Don. I think it's Hangman, and it's not close for All In.
And was it 400,000 for the whole team, or was it 400,000 a piece? Because they were making it sound like he's going home $400,000 richer. I was like, wouldn't it? No, okay.
Are you talking about on the 400?
They cut the promo that each of them was going to get 100,000, and it's what you going to do with 100.
It was a 8-man tag where the winners got $400,000 split. The faces won.
And I was saying, I appreciate the old school booking of that, because you would have for a $10,000 match or something. And who was it that used to do that all the time? Not before DiBiase. It was a territory thing.
Heenan did it for WrestleMania. Remember the whole
that was the John Studd one.
Yeah, when Andre threw the money out
the crowd. Yeah. But I remember there being somebody, and it was like not quite a Ric Flair, but maybe more of a Tully Blanchard level, where a heel cheated to win it, and he just held it over their head and always had the cash.
It wouldn't surprise me if it was Blanchard, because that was kind of part of his bit.
Yeah,
back in the day. Anything else you boys want to talk about? Ring of Honor is already complete. It's only 47 minutes this week. I watched it for the.
No, just looking forward to next week, which is wrestling. What is that, Rob?
It's wrestling Christmas Eve. Wrestling New Year's Eve is coming up next week.
Yes.
Dear God, Mania is next weekend.
I'm going to be so exhausted.
Will you be on the show next week, sir?
Probably. No, I definitely will not be, because I will be at Bloodsport.
Okay. Alex will be in Vegas. He'll be giving us I
will be trying to keep everybody up to date. Worst case scenario, Rob, I'll be sending you photos to post if I'm having issues with any kind of connectivity.
And there may be some crossover in Vegas coming up while you're there. Remember, I'm going to be in Vegas at one point.
Okay. I'm sorry. It was a weird delivery, and I was like, I think you're referring to you, but I'm not sure.
I'm not going to Mania, but I will be in Vegas very soon, and Alex and I will have crossover. So we're going to see how that all works out. There's a QR code over there. You should click.
Is it here? Is it here?
Yeah, you got it.
Nice.
Click it and follow us on all your social medias, and make sure that you're going to our website, www.theclubhousepodcast.com, because you can get the written reviews there. We're going to get back on that train soon with the video reviews too. You can follow me on all your social medias if you like. Everything is that Rob Irvin. That is spelled ERVIN.
I'm Vexploit on all social media. If you'd like to help out the show, please go to ProWrestlingTees.com and search for the Cheap Popcast. We got a lot of different designs and a lot of different color options within those designs. If you're an artist and you have any suggestions or tweaks, or even want to submit artwork, you will get 100% of the proceeds of whatever is sold, and you could send those to me at alex@theclubhousepodcast.com.
Well, to get those awesome shirts that even make me look good, ProWrestlingTees.com/cheappopcast, at Twitter, I'm Medic Bunu. IGBN If you want to smash your place, email me, Don at theclubhousepodcast.com.
That reminds me, boys, stick around for a minute after the show, because we got to talk logistics on some stuff.
All right.
Yes, sir.
We love doing live shows and hanging out with the Empire. You can email me questions, comments, concerns. Tell me to go pound sand. I am Rob at the clubhousepodcast.com. Charlotte Marshall's on Pinterest because we are morally obligated to say that. Our normal show every Thursday night, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, is your one-stop shop for all things sports, entertainment, pop culture, and pro wrestling. So until next time, for Alex, for Don, for the Empire, I'm Rob. Clubhouse is closed, and congratulations to Brittany Palmer, who got engaged this week.
This is a Stolen Water Media production.